There is a willow grows aslant a brook that shows his o'er leaves in the glassy stream. There with fantastic garlands did she come, of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples, that liberal shepherds gave a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. There on the pendant boughs her coronet weeds clamoring to hang, an envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress. But that girl's not named Ophelia. This is Elizabeth Siddal. Born in 1829, Lizzie was discovered while working in a shop at the age of 20 by the artist Walter Deverell. She quickly became the favorite model of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. The Pre-Raphaelites were a secret society of young artists in England around the 1850s. Wow. They were rebels. Mainly, they opposed the French Academy's promotion of the Renaissance artist Raphael. Yeah, take that, Raphael. They also opposed the triviality of genre painting, which was popular at the time. They wanted to be taken super seriously, okay? Like, so seriously. They were very inspired by John Ruskin. Notably in this context, he was the premier art critic of the Victorian era. And Ruskin believed we should go to nature. Also, the Pre-Raphaelites believed in painting serious subjects with maximum realism. I totally feel like I would have been friends with these guys. Actually, to illustrate my point, Lizzie posed in a bathtub to create Ophelia here. In winter, in the Victorian era. The bathtub was heated with lamps underneath, which would sometimes go out, and the artist, John Everett Millais, was just too consumed by his work to notice that his model was freezing to death. And like any good Victorian woman, she fell ill and actually almost died. So, cool, dude. But Lizzie became an artist in her own right, which was way weird for a woman to do in the 1800s. She painted these lovely watercolors. Her self-portrait in particular is captivating to me. It's less about this idealized idea of feminine beauty that the Pre-Raphaelites were kind of forcing on her, and more honest. She was good. And John Ruskin, remember John Ruskin? He liked her work so much he began to subsidize her career and paid her £150 a year for all paintings and drawings she produced. She also wrote this dark poetry about the impossibility of true love. Now, this chick, I'd be friends with this chick. So she becomes the primary muse and falls in love with Dante Gabriel Rossetti, also part of the Pre-Raphaelites. And was she ever his muse? In 1852, he made this beautiful drawing of her painting. When he married her in 1860, he made this wedding portrait of her. His most famous painting of her is Beata Beatrix, which was completed a year after her death. Because Lizzie actually died when she was only 32. She suffered from terrible health. It was thought that she had tuberculosis, but some historians believe it was an intestinal disorder. Others think maybe she was just anorexic. Of course, it could always have been the laudanum, because Lizzie was a drug addict. This, as far as I can tell, was just a vicious cycle. Lizzie had poor health, they gave her laudanum, which she became addicted to, which caused her health to get worse. She became severely depressed. In 1861, she suffered a stillbirth, which made her even more severely depressed. And she overdosed on laudanum in 1862. Dante came home from teaching and found her unconscious. They were not able to revive her. 7 years after her death, Rossetti published a book of sonnets, including a poem called Without Her, which I won't read for you. We're a little overloaded with poetry on this episode as it is, but suffice to say, it's very sad. So I suppose she's not so different from Ophelia after all.